Good morning everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. I am Nicolas Bouzan, and I am the Area Business Manager at QUANTIFICARE company for Western Europe. QUANTIFICARE is a French company with more than 20 years of international experience in 2D and 3D photography systems. Our technology, LiveVis, is the culmination of 2 decades of research work in stereo vision, resulting in a very compact and easy-to-use system. Our 3D systems propose unmatched high-quality image reproducibility, geometry, and are poised to become an intrinsic part of any aesthetic practice. Standardization, accuracy, reliability are fundamental for effective image analysis and documentation. Today, we have the pleasure to have Dr. Dalvi Humzah as our speaker for this webinar. Dr. Dalvi Humzah is the founder and medical director of plastic and dermatological surgery and 3D LiveVis mini user for many years. Dr. Dalvi Humzah will talk about the effects of radiofrequency on skin quality, tissue displacement, and even considering events with volume variation. If you have any question you would like to ask, please write them on the Q&A box and we will answer them at the end of this webinar. Thank you, and I see you at the end.
Hello, I'm Dalvi Humzah, and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar on using the 3D QUANTIFICARE system in analysing results from radiofrequency treatment, in particular the InMode, Morpheus 8 and face-tight, neck-tight systems. I will take you through the ideal use of this technology and how it will help you to ascertain your results, and also how you can communicate with patients effectively using this technology. Firstly, I will look through radiofrequency methods that we use. Then we will talk about the evaluation methods, the advantages of using the 3D imaging for soft tissue displacement, and then I will describe to you some case presentations and how they've helped us in evaluating the results and treatment. Just a little introduction about myself and disclosure of any conflicts of interests. As you know, this is a talk specifically for QUANTIFICARE, and I also work with InMode as one of their KOLs and trainers. So what is this technology? The radiofrequency technology is combined radiofrequency as an internal and an external source. The internal source radiofrequency uses the face-tight, neck-tight platform, whereby radiofrequency is introduced from an internal probe to heat tissues up. You can see on the bottom corner how the tissues are heated up, and this can be used in different areas using different handpieces, and also as an external source using these insulated needles, the Morpheus 8, to cause contraction of tissues. So we can use it in 2 different modalities and also vary the depth of penetration with the needles. So that's the radiofrequency technology. And you can see here in a marked tissue how we can produce contractions. We're using a calipers to show that there is a 15% contraction in tissues following treatment. When we want to evaluate this in real clinical practice, we need to be able to assess volumetric changes, which is very useful to measure how the soft tissues have changed, particularly after contraction of tissues, and also the positional or vectoral changes, that is how the skin has moved. So these are different ways that we can actually look at how tissues have moved. Obviously, the calipers you saw earlier on is very useful for immediate measurements. It's very difficult to use it after treatment when you're following up the patients, and very difficult to standardize before and after comparisons. Other examinations such as an MRI, CT, soft tissue imaging is again useful for immediate and sometimes post-operatively, but can be very expensive and time-consuming. Using computer-aided graphics with lines drawn on it, again, are quite useful, but again, difficult to standardize before and afterwards. And other physical measurements like pinch testing, half-face evaluation is all very useful immediately, but can be difficult to follow up patients using that technology, or for using it for standardization before and afterwards. Other subjective evaluations are also useful, but again, does not give you any objective, true, quantified measurements. The 3D LifeViz, which I use, allows you to measure immediately post-treatment, after treatment, and is standardized. And what do I mean by standardized? Well, let me explain that as we progress. We know that there are variations in the amount of fat in a tissue, and the skin thickness varies in regions and also between patients. And when we treat patients, we need to be able to track and follow the soft tissue changes according to the treatment, according to time, and also specific events. So we need to be able to follow the patients up through these events, and having really accurate photo documentation pre and post treatment will allow us to follow these results and also then plan any future treatment that may be needed. So what can we achieve? Well, with the 3D QUANTIFICARE system, we can measure soft tissue displacements very accurately. It is a very small, compact and portable system, producing highly reproducible results which are standardized using the technology and the software, and the image quality is very high. So it gives you high D image quality. Now, how can we standardize this? Well, with the imaging, we can actually match the patient's image exactly. So it takes care of any positional changes of posture or position of the camera. The two images get linked together so that they are in synchronization when they're compared. They're identically orientated, and their proportion, because of the camera to subject distance is the same in all cases, is the same. And this allows point-by-point analysis of changes in tissue by superimposing soft tissue changes over each other, which I will demonstrate later on, and also to show movement of tissues, whether it be contraction or lifting. So here we have a system here. You can very quickly see on this patient how the soft tissue movement can be analyzed. You can graphically analyze the direction of movement and also measure the direction of movement. You can see it above the eyebrow here, 6.23 millimeters of movement, 2.5 later on. So you can visualize all the movements, and you can show the direction of movements, how the tissue has moved, where the movement has occurred, and the final outcome. So that allows you to very quickly assess your treatments. Now, let's look at how this can be applied in real-time practice. You can see there, the images are now synchronized. You saw the movement there, and now as you move into different areas, you can see the synchronization allows you to assess before and after areas. This lady, you can see that little mole on her chin, how it has moved. We're superimposing a before and after to see the changes in soft tissue. You can see that mole having moved from below, and it goes up. So there's been a vectoral shift in her face. And this can be shown using these tissue positioning that shows the 3.303 millimeters in the cheek, 4 millimeters just under the chin. Red shows a greater magnitude, yellow a lesser magnitude. You can see how the changes have been shown in different areas. We have more changes under the lower jaw, more around the temple, and that is translated to movement in the cheek. So that allows you to visualize. Again, here, second case. Here, the images are matched, and then you can see the before and after. Looking at the jowl, you can see there has been a change, but sometimes it's difficult to visualize unless you start superimposing. There you are, before and after. You can see how the before, the jowl is there, and then the jowl is treated and how the jowl is taken away. So the 3D analysis allows us to quantify this radiofrequency treatment, the before and after, and then we can look at the vectoral changes. Greater vectoral changes under the jawline, as one would expect, because we have treated that area 7 millimeters to 5 millimeters, but the overall facial treatment showing the vectoral changes throughout the whole face, around the temples, around the preauricular region, and the direction of change allows us to then plan any further treatment and also to discuss with the patient and show them that vectoral change. Now here's a patient who has changes around the upper eyebrow region. We're producing a brow lift. We've made the images in sync, and now we can show those eyebrow changes there before and after. The elevation of the eyebrow, the opening up of the eye, that's easily shown, very easy to demonstrate to the patient and show those in detail using this little box viewer. And then we can look at the vectoral changes. Here we've got a very interesting case. We've got vectoral changes between 17 to 5 millimeters, but on that right temple there has been a contraction rather than just a lifting. There's a contraction. Now superimposing the images, you can see the soft tissue, the improvement in the neck, the changes in the soft tissue profile of the neck. And then we can look at the volumetric changes. Here blue means loss of tissue, you can see that, and in the right eyebrow region there's actually a slightly increased volume as the tissues contract and come together. And again we can demonstrate that before and after change, the way the jowl has moved, the profile of the jawline and neck is improved using that little box viewer for before and after analysis. So that 3D analysis and vectoral analysis plus that superimposition of soft tissue profile allows you to really examine the face. And the last case here we're looking at, again, synchronizing the face and then showing a 3D profile. You can see the lower jawline profile is improved, but really to analyze it, we can come in with a before and after analysis showing the before eyebrow and the after eyebrow, the elevation that's been achieved purely by using the Morpheus 8 on the upper eyebrow region and also the Accutite, which is an internal radiofrequency, to give you an elevation and eyebrow lifting. The vectoral magnitude can therefore be examined, and that can show the direction of the vectoral changes and also the magnitude. And then again, looking at the lower jawline, the profile, showing how the jawline has been improved, the skin texture, looking at the lip lines, you can see how those lip lines have been improved. Again, this is just purely using external radiofrequency around the lip lines, just showing an effacement of those lines and how it's improved the skin texture and quality. So this box viewer allows you to really focus in on that area and discuss with the patient all the different areas that have been treated and the outcomes that have been achieved. So finally, just to summarize, assessing skin contraction and skin movement is a real challenge. The different modalities available make it difficult to follow patients up throughout their treatment pathway. But a 3D system such as the QUANTIFICARE LifeWiz allows you to align the facial features between 2 points, which is necessary to then follow the tissue movement. Using this 3D analysis, you can visualize the displacement, you can visualize the soft tissue movements, the volumetric changes, and really measure accurately the vectoral changes that take place following treatment, which is useful to communicate to patients as to what results they've achieved and also what further treatment can be used to improve and standardize their treatment pathways to give them the results they want. So the 3D LifeWiz is a really viable solution to evaluate all these soft tissue movements and give you the best results to discuss with patients. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Dr. Humzah, for this detailed and very interesting presentation. So we will now start the part of the webinar dedicated to questions and answers. So we have a first question here in the audience. Is it complicated to use? Dr. Humzah, do you want to share your experience as a long-time 3D Live Mini user?
No, thank you, Nicholas. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to see you all. In terms of using the QUANTIFICARE system, it's not complicated at all. It's a very small, portable system that allows you to very easily focus in. It has those lovely 2 red lights that allow you to focus in, and you can take 3 or 4 photographs, depending on the quality and the definitions you need. And it's easy to teach someone how to use it. You do not need any specific room, any specific material. You don't need to worry about background. It all works. So wherever you're using it, you can just line up the dots on the face and take the 3 or 4 photographs. Very easy to teach somebody else as well, so you don't have to do it. And it's a very simple system to use.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Humzah, for sharing insights. I may also add that the 3D Live system is very intuitive and user-friendly. So most of the steps have been simplified and automatized so that the operator just have to plug, click and play in record computation time. So you just have to shot pictures, transfer them to the computer and start the evaluation. So this process just takes between 3 to 5 minutes. We have a question here from Dr. Robert M. Johnson. Is it hard to integrate to my daily practice? So to answer to that question, I may say that the 3D Live is portable and compact, so you do not need a special room for taking the pictures. Our 3D camera is equipped with double flashes to ensure consistent lighting and very good overall image reproducibility. Also, all the images are standardized with the same distance and same background. Either you or your staff can be trained to take pictures anywhere, anytime. Once the images are acquired, a comprehensive software is needed. So this is when our 3D software comes into play. It will allow you to quantify the results, perform the simulations, visualize pre- and post-operation results in 3D. So this will allow you to capture the synergy of multiple systems into one. Let's move on now to the next questions. I see here a question from Dr. Marie Dupont. Is it possible to increase my revenue for my practice thanks to this system? So Dr. Dupont, thank you for your very interesting question. So yes, absolutely. And that can be done in different ways. First of all, when your patients come for treatments, they are only looking at one treatment. So our 3D system allows you to show them the treatment they came for, but you're also able to show them other issues they are not aware of. This will allow you to offer other treatments to your patients and increase profit for your practice. So in turn, our 3D system will allow you to be a premium practice. Secondly, the 3D Live will help you increase your conversion rates. So how? When you did a first consultation with your patient with his or her face reconstruction in 3D, there is a wow effect and wow reaction to your patient. And so the patient will want to do other treatments in 3D and will have to come back to your practice because the 3D model of her or his face that you have is unique and cannot be used by another software. And so you will also increase your patient loyalty. Thirdly, I may say that all the steps are automatized and all the features are accessible at a single click. So you won't have to spend time doing manual measurement, for example. And so you will get to see more patients in less time. Besides that, our software integrates a skincare module, which enables you to generate automatically a full detailed skin analysis report of your patients that you can personalize and in which you can make your own treatment plan recommendation. So thanks to this report, you will bring objectivity to your consultations and improve communication with your patients as well. And you can charge the skincare report to your patients. So that will bring additional revenue. Finally, the 3D Live is a powerful marketing tool for social media, as you can easily export your 3D photos and video animations to any device. We have actually here another question as well from Dr. Marie Dupont. Thank you, Dr. Dupont, for being so active. Can we export the photos? So yes, absolutely. You can export photos and also short videos thanks to the integrated export feature integrated to our software application. So you can use your photos and 3D animation for your presentations, workshops, social media, or simply communicate them to your patients. Dr. Dalvi Humzah, we have a question here for you. How can the system help me to improve my workflow?
Right, I think it's a very useful system because in your workflow, you need to be able to communicate effectively with your patients. The way I have done it is we would have the photographs taken before they come into the clinic so we can download them. So as soon as they arrive into the clinic, the photographs get taken and then exported onto my system, which is on my laptop. You can export that either through your own server, or if you have a Wi-Fi connection that's dedicated, you could do that through Wi-Fi. But you've got to be careful with that because of interference. But you can very quickly plug your computer and camera in, and you've got the results available. And then the discussion of the patient becomes looking at their photographs rather than asking them to look in mirrors and point it out. It becomes a very active conversation. There are facilities within the system that helps you. You can morph changes, so you can actually change areas to see what the patient is trying to communicate with you so that you get a really good understanding of what the patient wants. And then you can really hone in on the areas that you need to treat. You can look at it from physical morphological changes. You can look at skin changes such as vascular changes. You can look at pigmentation changes. The skin report I find very useful for being able to then add skincare products into the conversation, and therefore your workflow, you may perhaps take a little bit longer, but you're actually getting more information to the patient, more information from the patient. And certainly for your follow-ups, it's a really good system because the pictures are quantified. You can actually measure the changes and you can say, look, you may not feel there's a change, but here we can measure there's been a change. The case that I demonstrated, the lady with the little mole on her chin, that was quite useful because you could actually see a physical movement of the mole and you can show that. But a lot of patients don't have those physical changes and you have to rely on some sort of measurement, and those arrows that show that movement. I had a lady just yesterday in my clinic who sat there and said, I'm really not sure there's been a change. And as soon as I showed her the picture with the arrows, she said, now I can understand. Yes, there has been a change and I can accept that change. So I think your conversation and the information your patients leave with is very good, and your workflow comes out of that. You can add more things into your conversation.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Humzah, for sharing insights. It's in fact very important to share this feedback because as I said, you are an active user of the Live Mini for many years, so you have this experience of how to integrate the system to your daily practice. In fact, I may also add that usually when the patient does not always know what treatment must be done, so the free Live system allows the specialist to show other possibilities which the patient may not have considered. So it enables to ease the communication between the specialist and the patient. I may also add, in addition, that the 3D LiVis system can also help to prove to the patient the objective results obtained after treatment by providing an objective record in case, for example, the patient forgets or does not realize the improvements from from the specialist aesthetic interventions. So as you correctly said, Dr. Humzah, the 3D LiVis will also in turn helps creating loyalty with your patients.
The other interesting thing is how accurate that measurement is. Now, I'm not a great software and hardware designer, but it is very accurate. When I've measured it from the picture to actually translating it on the patient, it is very accurate. And that's certainly the LiFiz. I think you're getting a really good high definition image. And I believe you can measure right down to about 25 microns in terms of skin change with the LiFiz Mini.
Absolutely.
So really, really accurate. In fact, one of my patients actually has said to me when they looked at the picture from the LiFiz Mini, they almost felt that it was too accurate because it showed all the wrinkles and lines on the face that they hadn't normally noticed. And with the color balance that you get, it's much better than my normal 2D photographs are not as accurate in terms of color balance and matching before and afters, because you may end up taking photographs with a 2D camera at different times of the day, and the color balance is matched, whereas the flash and the fixed distance means that textures are matched like for like throughout your conversation.
Absolutely. So that makes, in fact, a big difference for the daily practice of the practitioner. That actually a part of the answer may be linked with another question we have from Dr. Mary Fisher. Is the measurement tool accurate? So our 3D camera integrate dual beam pointers, as you said, for standardization in the capture process to enable accurate image comparison. So the measurement tool, in fact, has minute accuracy and can detect changes sometimes not even visible to the naked eye. So the 3D LiVis is a perfect tool, in fact, to show the efficacy of radiofrequency treatment, for example. Thanks to the 3D facelift feature, which will be released in our upcoming software update, you will be able to assess the direction and distance of facelifts and easily visualize the degree to which skin is stretched or lifted through color indicators. So that will be a very interesting feature you will get. I will move on now to another question from Dr. Christiana Kuhl. Is it possible to have body pictures or only facial pictures? So, in fact, we have different 3D systems. The LiVis Mini is the 3D system dedicated to facial acquisition. We have another system called the LiVis Body, which is tailored for 360-degree body acquisition and breast acquisition in 3D. And we have our all-in-one integrated system called the LiVis Infinity, which is dedicated to facial acquisition, 360-degree body acquisition, and breast, all in one. I may add here that for body pictures, the system comes with a turntable and a tripod. So there's a tripod on which you mount the camera, and a turntable on which you will ask the patient to climb into. And thanks to a remote, the turntable will make a rotation, and the camera will take 8 pictures to fully reconstruct the body in 360 degree. So with these pictures obtained, you will be able to do some circumference measurements, for example, and visualize a volume loss after specific treatments. May then be invasive or non-invasive procedures. So here we have time for 2 last questions. How much can I trust the data in the app? That's a very interesting one, in fact. Let me tell you that all our 3D LiVis systems have undergone rigorous validation. In addition, we are trusted by top pharma companies worldwide for running their imaging clinical trials since 2001.
The other thing, Nicholas, just to add on that is the matching is very accurate, because if you take a pre-treatment photograph and a post-treatment photograph and you want to analyze one specific area, that is matched in the pre and post, so you don't have to keep trying to draw areas around it. Once you fix your area of interest, it is matched throughout the whole treatment pathway of that patient, so you've got really accurate results that you can discuss and see.
Absolutely, thank you, Dr. Humzah, for bringing these insights. In fact, linked to that, we have another question here: does the system have flawless image quality, being reliable enough to evaluate the skin properly? So that's, of course, a major concern and a big question. I can reassure you here by saying that the 3D LiveVis offers both very good image quality, accurate body shape, geometry, and measurement capabilities. In fact, the LiveVis technology offers the most powerful and complete 3D comparison tools on the market, making it easy, safe, accurate, reliable, and flawless to evaluate the skin properly. So the evaluations made with the 3D LiveVis are absolutely reliable. We have a scientific background, and all our measures are all scientifically validated. So we are working in clinical trials for decades, and we are recognized among the scientific community. Also, as you mentioned, Dr. Humzah, more specifically, the LiveVis Mini offers a precision of up to 25 microns, and we have a more scientific system called the LiveVis Micro, which offers a precision of 8 microns. Does it have support services available to help? Yes, in fact, we have a dedicated team with representatives in each of our premises, speaking 13 languages in different time zones to adapt to each request: Europe, USA, Asia, to offer also and to provide the best support that you can need, even if it is a training, a technical issue, or a simple explanation. So all of our customers have access to our hotline anywhere in the world. I see here a few more questions, in fact, which are linked to what we previously introduced. Maybe Dr. Humzah, do you want to share another aspect of your daily use with your 3D LiveVis Mini as a long-time user?
Yes, I mean, I think a lot of my patients really like to see that picture, because we don't actually see ourselves as other people see ourselves. We see ourselves in the mirror, and the 3D LiveVis really allows you to see the face from different angles. So one of the things we do is show patients different viewpoints from the side, from an oblique angle, and shows them areas in a lot more detail. So we can actually focus in on a specific area and really concentrate on that. I think they like to see the face almost like in a rotation format, different angles, so they can see what other people see rather than what they see in a mirror. That's a really important thing. We don't see ourselves as others see it. We're always looking at photographs or mirrors, and that's not a real reflection of how others see us. And patients really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Humzah. We have a question here from Dr. Benjamin Binns. Is the function discussed an additional upgrade to my existing QuantifiCare software? So as a user of the LiveVis, you will be offered the possibility to renew a contract, which is called the Serenity contract, which in fact will give you the possibility to get all the updates of our software suites, to get the training and get the support from our team. So this way we can ensure you the best level of support from QuantifiCare. So I see a few more questions here, but we unfortunately do not have time to answer all of them. So please, I invite you to ask your questions at info@quantificare.com or through our website, and we will be pleased to answer all your questions. Dr. Humzah, thank you very much for your participation to this webinar and for sharing your insights and experience as a 3D LiveVis user.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. And, thank you to all the delegates who attended as well. Appreciate
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. And for those of you who do not use yet QUANTIFICARE 3D Live systems, we are very much looking forward to welcoming you among our QUANTIFICARE family users. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.